Hello and welcome back to AB in Focus. Technology is currently the talk of the town here in Dubai with Gitex 2022 in full swing. And we are delighted to be joined by Tareq Husseini, the Senior Sales Manager for the Middle East, Africa and Turkey from Western Digital. Thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So I think obvious question to start with then, given that we are here for Gitex. Where do you see the Middle East as positioned as a hub for technology globally?
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of infrastructures coming through, whether it's in the UAE, but also outside the UAE. We all hear about the visions also of Saudi Arabia. There's a lot of business in Saudi. Definitely the UAE is that hub for that technology that can spread all across the region.
Do you see the repeat demand from Gitex? I know before the cameras started rolling, we started talking about pent-up demand. Do you see similar dynamic as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You see it all across. We've seen many delegations coming from African countries, from regional. They wanted to re-establish those relationships that they had before, but we also see a demand for our products that now we see it coming back, where during COVID was a little bit constrained, and now it's opened up.
So do you see a resurgence in demand? Since you're talking about products, we might as well dive into it. Is there new demand for your products?
Yeah, so we've been through a cycle. COVID came with a cycle of demand for work from home, play from home, and study from home. Now we see a different shift. We see a shift in content creation. We see a shift on producing all kinds of artworks. We've seen also demand for the enterprise. We see a lot of investments in enterprise, whether it's CCTV projects, surveillance projects, security projects. We see infrastructure projects. All of that is now coming through.
So just to nail you on this one, do you see the demand more so in the enterprise side or is it in the consumer side?
I mentioned both.
Yeah.
So on the content side is definitely on the consumer side, and that's the driver of our business. As you know, WD has a SanDisk brand and also a digital brand. SanDisk is focused on the consumer and the consumer line of products, and WD mainly focused on the enterprise and a component. So we see that cyclical. So yes, we see both actually growing in this segment, in this market.
Do you think COVID-19 and the pandemic has changed the way that customers demand products? Is there a change in attitudes or needs?
Definitely there has been a shift. We see that in their purchase behavior. So we've seen a shift to online. We see a shift also of our retailers and our suppliers in the market. I give you an example. Many of our consumers still go online to do the research to see can they get the product at the same time they want, at the right price they want. But we also see a play for the retailers as well. If they increase their opening hours, they're actually catering to those customers who want the products now. We also see a lot of added value being created for consumers from retailers. So there is that shift.
You think customers are now want things faster than ever before? Sure. All right, so let's change the conversation here slightly because there is a topic that I think we could delve deeply on and get your insights on, and it's around the evolving conversation of security and data security. You guys are obviously in the business of holding data, so I thought it might be interesting to hear your views on how we can ensure to keep that data secure.
Yeah, so we're part of that ecosystem. So we work with many vendors, whether it's software or hardware, to keep the data secured. So overall, as an ecosystem, as an industry, we are all working together in harmony to make sure that the data is secured. And not only secured, but also we can have the intelligence part of it as well, from analytics and so on.
So are you using data to drive data security?
To some extent, yes. But then again, it's part of that holistic ecosystem where we fit. We're part of enabling devices that we're producing. We enable part of that security ecosystem that you're talking about for data.
Do you see that as part of the overall conversation at the moment? What are the broad themes and where are people looking for these opportunities and challenges?
Mainly what we see in the market, our fastest growing category is the surveillance and a smart video. What we call now is a smart video as part of the sales surveillance category. This is the biggest growth driver for our business. And I can tell you today we're launching one of the highest capacity drives in the market at 22 terabyte. And we continue to produce, from a technology point of view, even higher capacities in the near future.
So just so that I can put this into perspective, how big would you describe 22 terabytes beyond a number?
Well, I cannot put a number. I can tell you that you can now store much more videos for longer. Mm-hmm. And as we know, governments and institutions are now asking for archiving systems that can last for many months, in some cases many years.
Now, how long can this product last for then?
Usually they are 5 years. This is the typical warranties we give.
And as you said, this is mostly for government surveillance side, storing data archival. Is that where you see the growth now into the near term?
Of course. So we're also heading towards data centers, towards the cloud. We see also small, medium businesses are going into that sphere as well. So yeah.
You mentioned the cloud there. Part of the conversation around the cloud and data, I find, inevitably gets to this point of different corporate members utilizing cloud products rather than holding data themselves. So do you see that as an evolving trend in terms of the number of clients that you look after? Do you have less clients that are bigger, or do you still have broad base in terms of clients?
Yeah, this is where the beauty about the business we're in. We're working on both sides. So we work on a consumer side and the small businesses, but also we work on the cloud. So we're on both sides of the equation.
All right, talk to me a little bit about innovation here. You just said that you've designed a drive at 22 terabytes to hold more for longer. How do you keep being innovative? I ask this question of many people. How can you keep innovation at the center of your business? Surely there's always a competitor around the corner waiting to eat your lunch.
That's true. That's true. However, from a technology perspective, on both the flash piece and the hard drive piece, we are on the forefront. And I give you an example of the 22 terabyte here.
Here's one I made earlier.
Yes, yes. So this is the 22 terabyte. It is the advance in terms of technology. Is the leading one in the market. What we care about is not only the size, but also the functionality of the drive. If you look at the flash piece of the business, we have the highest density of cells in our devices. That continues to be the forefront of what we do. Mind you, we continue to bring new patents to keep us apart from the competitors, right? So this is a journey that we're taking from a technology perspective.
One of the topics we frequently cover at Arabian Business is also around the evolving conversation of leadership and about how leaders can keep their teams motivated. I thought I'd get your thoughts on this as well. How do you keep teams motivated and how do you keep teams innovating?
Oh, this is a very good question. Really, thank you for bringing it up. During COVID, we had really issue in staying connected with our teams. And somebody like me and many leaders as well, you have teams across the globe. And that connectivity piece was not there. What I feel that now to keep them motivated, we just need to get closer and stay closer to our teams. Yes, it's going to require a little bit more travel, but that is also okay, even in this current situation. But being close to the team is the best motivator today. Also focus on their well-being from wellness programs, encouraging. That conversation alone already brings that closeness to the team and keeps them motivated. I think from my point of view as well, having aspirational goals that are achievable also incites our teams to stay motivated.
It's interesting you brought up a couple of different things there that we could dive into. The first of which you were talking about closeness and about physically meeting one another. I know we were having that conversation before this interview started about how much better it is to meet someone in person. But in terms of work and the way that work looks and the future of work, do you see it always being in the office then, or is it part in the office, or is there also a remote component? What does it look like?
I think it's a mix of both. I think we also realized that people found new joy in being around the house and being around the home, but also appreciated the longer hours. So there is that balance. I think eventually you will have a portion of the work can be done from home very productively, and another portion that you can still do from the office. I think there were quite a few surveys where the discussion was about where does creativity come along? Does it come in the office or being working from home? I think still creativity through debate, through brainstorming can definitely come from the office. So I think a balance of the two.
And just to come back to the second thing that you mentioned earlier around this conversation of wellness as well, how do you institute wellness in the workforce? And do you find that employees just demand this now as standard form?
I think it's the conversation is the most important thing. Opening the subject and the topic with your employees in an empathetic way definitely opens them up to start thinking, yes, wellness is part of being a healthy worker, but also a healthy family member. I think it's opening the conversation and seeing where I can do as a leader to preserve that or bring that environment of well-being to the team.
All right, last thing from me then. As previously mentioned, we are here at Gitex, so it would be remiss of me not to ask what you're doing at Gitex and what your plans are for the event.
Well, first, I'm glad that I'm meeting you for sure, and I'm meeting your audience. For me, it's also a learning journey. That's the thing, the beauty about Gitex, that you're always learning the trends, you're learning the new technologies, meeting people, and that's definitely my intention to do in the next couple of days.
All right, Tareq, in which case all that exists left is to thank you for joining us here today. Thank you very much.